Welcome everyone. This is a quick video on how I am using Anthropic's MCP uh, Agent.ai server in Claude Desktop to actually take data from a contract and update a board in Monday.com. And again, the tool that it's mainly using from Agent.ai is the HTTP API call. And you might be like, what's the big deal about that? But as you can imagine, the Monday.com API structure is a bit complicated. It uses GraphQL and it's got boards and subboards, and I don't know too much about that API. And so I was just trying to see if I could just use uh, Claude to go do that for me. And so this kind of shows how it can orchestrate across tools. And the second thing it's going to do is going to extract from a PDF, um, or in this case, have an HTML file that I'm just going to give it, which has a contract, or I might actually give it a screenshot. So let's try this out. So I'm going to attach a screenshot which has my contract. And so it's actually an HTML file with the contract. And for those who are interested, the contract looks something like this. It's an ad contract. It's got some people's names. What I wanted to do is to extract the information from this and then put it into a board in Monday.com. And here's the board that I have in Monday.com. It's got all the fields, and I just wanted to extract and put it in here. And the point is that if it can do this, then I can basically convert this into an agent that I can run again and again, where I can just take input as a contract and update a board. So let's see how the process works. I've already given my Monday.com token key or whatever it needs. So it's looking at this and it's extracting information from the HTML document. So this is one of the advantages of using an LLM to extract data. Now I get it that if the format changes a lot and there might be some hallucination, but overall it could come in as a PDF, it could come in as an HTML. It doesn't really care. It's just going to extract the core information from the file. And then you'll now notice it starts updating the existing board. So it's starting to make REST calls from Agent.ai. So what is cool about this again is that I didn't have to tell it which API to call. I didn't have to tell it how to take this, structure it into a JSON object that is then passed into a GraphQL. It's going to Agent.ai. It's going to Monday.com's API, understanding what the API structure looks like, and it's automatically generating this information. So how this looks like over here, if you look at it, you notice it just starts to write stuff. So it's pulling things there and it's starting to write stuff. And then let's see if it is going to go right. Now let's check the columns of the sub items, and it's going to go and try to write the sub items. And again, if I was building an agent to go do this, I would have to build all these API calls. I'd have to give the URL and I have to give the body. And you'll notice the body is kind of wonky. Um, I have to kind of know exactly what it is. But the beauty about this is I have my list of API calls. And if I want to make them one after the other, I can just copy this and paste it into whatever application that I'm going to use to make these series of calls, whether it's Zapier or whether it's whatever it is. And so it's running the call, and let's see what's going on here. And you noticed it created three items and it is in the process of filling out the last item. And that's an example of how I've now built an integration. And there we go, third item just came in. I hope you found this useful. And then once it's done, it's probably going to tell me that it was successful and yeah, successfully added the information. And so what you just saw is an integration from using Agent.ai's HTTP API call. Now you could use anybody's HTTP API call, but what Claude is doing is going, reading the HTTP API, understanding the structure, it's taking my data that I passed it, formatting it, and then creating all these API calls that I can now use in my agent.